Is it Democrats in disarray? No. Is it Republicans in disarray? I say yay. But Kudlow says no. He's got Rep. Claudia Tenney on, and she says, we have our government is disarray. I know what you're thinking. Hal, shouldn't it say, we have our government in disarray? No. Why would you think that? We have our government is disarray is words, and words are hard sometimes when you're typing them up or when you're saying them, especially when you're at Folks News. So let's go to Folks News right now. McCarthy faces challenges to speakership bid. Does he? Really?
Congresswoman Claudia Tenney from upstate New York. Claudia, thank you very much. I assume...
Wait, are they booing her as she walks up?
You voted. Claudia, what can you tell us? First of all, this is...
What can you tell us, first of all, gin fizz, easy ice.
Ballot 3. I don't think we're going to go 133 ballots like we did in 1856.
He was there, he voted present.
We might go 9, which we did in the modern era in 1923. Happy New Year. You look like $1 million. Give us a little insight.
She kind of looks like she's going as Nancy Pelosi for Halloween. I'm not going to lie.
Inside baseball. What's cooking?
Yeah, Happy New Year. Well, we're under our third ballot.
Yes, Happy New Year. I don't know what that accent is, but sure.
Luckily, my name is at the end of the alphabet, so I get to vote last, so I can be here with you. But it's pretty unprecedented at this moment. I think that right now...
Well, it's unspeakered, I would say.
I really think the Republicans need to start sticking together. I've listened to all the conferences. I've listened to everybody's discussions. But right now, we have our government really in disarray, and we...
Excuse me, you have our government is disarray. And secondly, it's not our government. Your party is in disarray. The rest of the government is fucking fine. As a matter of fact, the president is with the Republican minority leader from the Senate and Republican senators in fucking Kentucky touting the infrastructure bill. The government is working. You guys are fucking bad at this.
We really need to get it together. We are seeing the American people dependent on what we can do as Republicans. We're the last best hope right now.
It's just for your vanity, Earthshine, I think. No, the points are good. It helps somehow. I don't know how. I'm glad to see it. Earthshine 17. It makes me happy. It's fine. Thanks. I don't know if it helps me, but I like to see it.
Well, we have a Senate that's run by the Democrats. We have the administration, which is, freewheeling executive orders. Our border is open.
No, it isn't. Border's not open.
We have skyrocketing inflation.
We do not have skyrocketing inflation. Turkey has skyrocketing inflation. We have better inflation than other places.
Are the only thing that can stop what's happening with this.
Yeah.
It's authoritarianism.
This authoritarianism. Yes, this absolute. It's terrible. Thank God Trump was in there for 4 years and didn't do any of this executive order horse shit. Or refusing to let bills come to the floor, through his control over Republicans, and especially if they were bipartisan, so he wouldn't have to share a stage with Democrats. That ends now.
Communism from the left. We even had a
communism
Democrat get up on the floor today that said she was honored to vote for Hakeem Jeffries from the People's Republic of Brooklyn. Last time I knew, New York State was not a communist regime, was not the People's Republic of China. So this is...
I think she's kidding around.
The kind of people that are on the left laughing and mocking us while we...
Yeah, she's mocking you for calling it the People's Republic of Brooklyn. Some fuckhead from your caucus called it that, and they were dunking on them while you guys... played ostrich.
We need to really get a speaker in place. We need to get everyone sworn in, and we need to get down to the business of fixing inflation in our economy, getting growth.
How?
Dealing with the southern border.
Getting growth. Oh, check that. Hey, guys, how we do on getting growth? Nothing on that yet. Okay, well, I'll just, I'll check the box anyways. How about that? Okay. And then inflation. What are we doing about inflation? Complaining. Okay, I'm not going to check that box, but I will put an X through it. Right?
Order and holding this administration, which is very lawless, accountable.
Very lawless. Yeah, it's amazing to me that when Biden rides up on a horse with a Remington and a 6-gun with his hat raked to one side, making people dance by shooting at their feet.
Finally,
He's fucking Jesse James, this Biden fella.
we've got to get started on it right away. So I hope that we get to a
Yeah, we got to get started on it right away. Draft something, fucko. That has nothing to do with committees. That has nothing to do with who's speaker. Draft a fucking bill, stupid. This drives me nuts. Once we, blah, blah, blah. No, once we. Every member, anybody who comes on a show like this, who's been, let's say, through two sessions, should have put some legislation of some sort on the floor or co-sponsored something that they can describe in these settings. Like, we need to, bring down inflation, as I've tried to do with this, and this. That we need to attach, limitations on spending so that we're not overdoing it in certain areas. We understand that, anybody who's got a mortgage on their home, nobody lives totally debt free, but you want to manage that so you can make sure that you're not doing yourself any long-term damage, which I help to do through this, and this. It's not fucking hard unless you're a Republican and you don't do any fucking homework. You can even talk about, like, when I was on the Judiciary Committee, or I was on the Budget Committee, or I was on the fucking Appropriations Committee, any of that shit, you can go, we addressed this, and it came a piece of legislation that blah, blah, blah. Right? That's what you do. None of these fuckers do it. All they do is lay out these, like, this small litany of gripes, and they all sound exactly the fucking same.
a ballot very soon. I appreciate and understand the concerns that people have, but guess what? Festivus is over.
Wow. Yeah. Enough of your the airing of grievances.
Time for grievances is over. We need to come together. We need to stick together as a group. Otherwise, we're failing the American.
First of all, pretty sure she said sick together, which makes sense. And also, do you even freedom, bruh? What? These people can't, what are you, canceling them? Huh? They can't have their own ideas? They got to go with the fucking herd? Is that what's up? Is that what you heard?
People.
Claudia Tenney, I was talking just a few moments ago with Newt.
To a cup of ice, which should be filled with brandy.
Gingrich about all this.
And he had to step down, and he was replaced by, was it Livingston? And then that guy immediately didn't even get a vote, and they replaced him with Dennis Hastert, who was blackmailed by an underage boy he had sex with. Because Republicans.
And really, to me, and I think Newt agreed, this is about personalities, not policies. I don't see the policy dispute. I mean, it's not like Kevin McCarthy is some far left-wing guy, for heaven.
Yeah, he is. According to them, he is. Do you understand how it works? There's no gray area in the Republican caucus. There's us, and there's fuck you, burn it down. That's it. There are no, like, look, the division in our politics, honest to God, is more the distinction between run-of-the-mill Republicans and the maggots that control them. If the maggots weren't there to control them, the divisiveness of our politics would drift. Most even the social issues that drive us apart wouldn't rise to the level of needing legislation to protect people from the extremists. One of the reasons why we have, bills about trans rights or any of that kind of stuff is because of the attacks on them specifically from this group. Without those attacks, there would be no need for legislation because this would be about interpersonal interaction. If there weren't hyper right-wingers like running interference for like the marchers at Charlotte, for example, you wouldn't even need hate crime legislation. It would be part and parcel to the sentencing structure. Like, look, I know you didn't shoot this guy because his name was Gary. You shot him because he was Asian or black or white or gay or straight or whatever you ain't. And that makes me concerned as a judge about how you'll react to other people in that group because it wasn't a singular crime. So I'm going to tack on 8 more years so that by the time you get out of jail, it's going to be really hard for you to make, anybody's life a problem. That's how that worked before. But it's because people wanted to protect those things, protect those people, downplay it because they felt offended, because they were starting to cozy up to those folks, and they're like, oh shit, I'm gonna get, you know what, they're not half bad, right? And they start taking it personal.
Heaven's sakes. And it's not like the commitment to America, which all of you put together.
Yeah, rattle some of that off. The commitment to America. We looked at it. It's a fucking outline. It's not even the contract with America.
Isn't a cogent, conservative, principled message.
It's a message of principle in theory, but it doesn't say what it's gonna fucking do or how. And that's more to the point. How? It's one thing to tell me what you're gonna do. But if you tell me you're gonna climb Mount Everest and then I find out you're just gonna fucking wing it, first of all, I'm gonna think you're an idiot, and secondly, I know you're gonna die. What you're gonna do is slightly less important, especially in legislative situations, to how you intend to do it, because it requires you to either come up with new tax funds to pay for it, or to stop spending on some things to pay for it, or to accrue debt to do it, or to create some new technology or release a form of technology out into the world, say like the intranet from the DOD that became the internet. How? Fucking how? And she's a great example of where there just isn't one. There is none.
That will stop Biden's radical agenda. It's about personalities. And, Claudia, to me, personality politics is the worst kind of politics.
Yeah, it's the worst because I don't have one. You don't have a personality. Both of us are like pats of butter in jackets and scarves.
I agree with you 100%, and the former Speaker, Newt Gingrich, is exactly right. This has now come down to personalities. I've heard grievances such as, gee, Kevin, you voted for an omnibus bill 5 or 6 years ago, so we're going to hold that against you. And so
5 or 6 years ago. Wait a minute, I hit you tonight.
We never can support you, no matter how far you go on bending and changing these rules. To be honest with you, I think Kevin has gone far enough. I think these rules, he's made concession after concession. I think it's time to play hardball now and say, look, you need to join the team. We need to stand up for the American people.
They're not on. All right, asshole. First of all, you can't negotiate with somebody who thinks the Joker was the hero in The Dark Knight. You're talking to chaos agents, and none of them have committee spots worth of fuck anyways. They're not even in line for them. What are you going to do? Take something away? All that does is give them more free time to go on Steve Bannon's show and scream about how they're going to burn the whole fucking thing down. You've got no leverage because they've got nothing, and they're Congress people. Senators you can leverage because they've been in longer and it's a fucking expensive race and they stay in for 6 years. These assholes, like, all you're giving, the hilarious part of this, and I can't believe, like, this isn't part of her thinking or their thinking, like, why you wouldn't consider this. But by removing Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert and fucking whoever else from committees, all you do is give them more time to fundraise. As outsiders, which a huge chunk of the party, that's all they give a fuck about.
We need to stand up for a rules package that gives us a strong leader so that we can stand up to this.
Yeah, they want a weak leader, stupid. They want to be the tacit leader. They want him on a leash. They can fucking yank anytime they want. It's not going to happen. This woman is nuts. She thinks that Kevin McCarthy is going to go, no, fuck you. And they're going to go, all right.
The Senate. Remember, as we talked about last time I was on this show, the Senate Republicans are the ones that gave us this $1.7 trillion spending bill.
No, they didn't. No, they did not, ma'am. The $1.7 trillion spending bill came from the electorate. The people who elected those people, both on the Democratic and Republican side, put Joe Biden in and decided that we've gone long enough not funding infrastructure and other important tasks that are pro-growth stuff on a, we're letting it die on the vine was never a strategy that was going to work anyways. And we've put ourselves behind the 8 ball with a lot of other advancing countries for no fucking reason other than you guys want to own the fucking libs. The $1.7 trillion bill is about the priorities of the American people. It's not socialism. It's not fucking communism. It's not even fucking capitalism. It's democratic taxation at work. You want to be able to shut down things like the omnibus bill, you got to do it with more than a fucking 6-vote gerrymandered chunk of people in a couple of states. Because you're never going to have the White House and you're never going to have the Senate again if you can't reach across the aisle. And if you're priding yourself on never doing it, you're done in the House too.
Well, that's going to leave us stuck and jammed until September. Our ability to issue subpoenas and getting them complied with is going to be without.
I'm sorry. People are supposed to comply with subpoenas, are they? That's what they're supposed to do now? Now it's important? What's the precedent that you're going to use that people must listen to a subpoena you guys put out? What? Why? If other people can turn them down, explain yourself.
Without our power of the purse that we're given by the Constitution, there's a lot of issues here at play. So I think the sooner we get a ballot, the sooner we get a speaker and get down to work, I think the better it is for the American people.
Yeah, but there are people in your caucus that think that the full destruction of the U.S. government, the absolute just nuking the system as it exists is the only answer. We've got I would say we got 3 or 4 people that either secretly or openly use that kind of language when they're on a podcast occasionally, but they don't dare bring it up in polite company and, where everybody around them isn't on on the team. And I mean you, Rokana and Ariana Presley and that crowd. They'll whisper and chit chat about this, but ultimately they're not given the power to fuck the whole thing the way the Kevin McCarthy has given the power to fuck up everything to the Freedom Caucus. And maybe it's the name. Maybe the Squad, for example, they don't mean as much ill as the Freedom Caucus does. But the Squad, it sounds like kind of policey, I guess, a little bit. It's it's a branding issue. Whereas the Freedom Caucus is all brand and all bullshit.
Claudia, you're on the floor, expert voting. I'm not, but Mr. McCarthy got 19 nay votes. Sorry, in each.
It turned out to be 20 later.
To the first 2 ballots. Now
and a present.
I'm suggesting that
he didn't get a present. Somebody voted present. There's no presents. There's nothing under the tree, Kevin.
That's not such a bad thing. In other words, the 19 hasn't gone to 30 or 35. He originally had, he won the majority vote earlier, but I think he lost 30-something votes. So far, the nays haven't ballooned.
Yeah, they have. They started at 3, fucko. 3.
Is that a good sign for Kevin McCarthy?
It's great. It's great. He should go back again a couple more times. Yeah, it's it's getting better all the time. It's good. It's good. And at least he's not up against people who pride themselves on being belligerent assholes.
In your judgment?
I do, and I think that there's a lot going on in the social media world. A lot of conservatives don't really understand what's going on here with the sausage making and inside.
Yeah, that is a problem. Their constituents are idiots, I guess. They don't understand the sausage making. Actually, I think a lot of Republicans, more than even Democrats, know how sausage is made. I'm just going to say.
Inside baseball, and that we need to govern. And
is it sausage is made inside baseballs?
The alternative is the other side, and they're mocking and making fun of us and grandstanding.
What? I would never. What? Stop it. I would never. What? That's. What? That's not right. I wouldn't. I mean, dignity. Always dignity.
standing on the other side of the floor, because guess what? We're doing this to ourselves. It's not.
It's true. It does seem like a big jerk off.
Them, but I think we're going to bring it together, and I think that, again, it's the petty grievances. I think those
Yes, we're going to bring it together because of, those petty fuckers.
19 or
You're doing a great job, girl. Absolutely, yeah. By boiling down their issues to petty grievances, that nothing will bring them to the table fast.
going to eventually turn over to supporting Kevin McCarthy.
Nope.
You know, look, we're never going to get a perfect speaker. We've never had one. As much as I love Newt
Nobody's perfect, okay? That's always the fallback of a weak argument. Look, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's talking about perfect. I just don't like you.
Gingrich and speakers in the past, we have never had a perfect.
Wait a minute. Are you saying Newt Gingrich wasn't perfect? What are you, his second wife or his first wife? Yeah.
Perfect speaker, and now we have an opportunity to put a Republican in place who said he's willing to work with us. He's willing to make concessions.
Yeah, he said stuff. When has he ever gone back on his word? Stop it, Matt. When has he ever said something and not Lauren? When has he ever said to Marjorie, I thought you were on his side. Will you have to bring it up now? Not helping.
Which he's done. Honestly, I think in some cases he's gone too far, but we can do another.
So she's on the fence.
Rules adjust once we
We just watched her talk herself out of a McCarthy vote.
get a speaker in place and we get control of the House.
Thank you, Congressman Claudia Tenney. Your turn.
Thank you, Congressman Claudia Tenney. Congresswoman or person, but woman. I think she'll go with woman. Call her Congressman. That's fine. Maybe she doesn't care.
Terrific. We appreciate your time. You all go and vote now. Thank you for coming.
Y'all go and vote now, you little lady. Move on. Send over a congressman so I can really talk some business later, if you don't mind. Yeah, move on. You take it on the heel and toe, little lady. You go over there and click your little button, flip your little switch, whatever the hell you do to vote. And if you need a men folk to help you do it, you just, I guess, look in a mirror because you're a congressman now. But anyways, I don't buy this trans nonsense. Because I always misgender everyone. Jesus. Yeah, spokesmodel for the Deborah Birx collection. Seriously. It's a look Trump likes, or used to. So we'll see.